What's up, everyone? Welcome back. I'm Mark. Let's get into the college basketball slate for Monday, March 11th. Everybody has a case of the Mondays. I slept in a little bit. Apologies for not getting these picks out earlier. It's something where, guys, a little bit of case of the Mondays. All right, we got that time change, leap year. I'm all screwed up. It's snowing again. I played a couple rounds of golf, and I had to basically forfeit that mindset because now I have 2 inches of snow in my front yard, and all we have to look forward to is these beloved college basketball conference tournament games. As we get into March, I'm excited. I hope you guys are as well. We're going to recap yesterday's plays. I'm going to break down the games in tonight's contest, and there is a lot of games that are jumping up out of the page, and these are the awesome ones. These are the big-name games that not necessarily are reflected by the universities. These are the big-name games because you can really read between the lines with some of the handle splits and some of the betting splits along the way, really tracking the money. I think that's where we really, truly have an edge this time of year. All the data points have been assembled, so a couple things you have to be mindful of is the lines are going to be tighter, the totals are going to be tighter, and finding that discrepancy is what it's all about, but more so in this time, the one thing that the books can't account for is heart. So a lot of times you can get works both ways. You can get some covers, and you on the heels of a overperformance or completely blowing a team out of the water because of desperation down the stretch and ending up pulling away with free throws, so on and so forth. So those are just some strategies that we get in this time of year. It's a different season. I like to tell you guys, we like to break down, betting seasons within certain sports respectively into quarters. Divide the seasons outwards because that way you can really track momentum. You're not going to get the same trends and same data lines and trend lines that you're going to get, say, when the first 3 weeks of the college basketball season to where you're at right here in March. Okay, so just a little bit of insight, but I want to get into these plays. I want to recap yesterday's plays, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the channel giveaway as we get deeper into March. Okay, but first, make sure you guys are all subscribed down below. Okay. You need to do that. Turn on notification bell as well. Appreciate you all. And let's get into that channel giveaway that I was talking about. All you have to do is subscribe on YouTube. And if you're already subscribed, great. And then from being subscribed, you click the link down below in the pinned comment from me. Go over to my page on Twitter, on X. And all you have to do is heart that post and share it with 3 of your friends and follow me on X. And by doing so, you're entered in a giveaway to win a jersey of your choice shipped directly to you from Fanatics.com within reason. We don't need any Mitchell & Nesses or Authentics out there. But guys, man of my word, we're going to be launching that and randomizing the winner live on the channel. Come closer to after the brackets and the selection Sunday, we're going to be giving that away live on the channel, okay? But let's get down into picks. Quick recap of yesterday, 2-2. I thought we were going to get out with 3-1. I faded Temple, looking for that UTSA spot -4, where we were looking at Temple possibly just laying an egg because of that infraction with the UAB game, with the possible point shaving that was going on. So they had a big lead, a substantial lead at halftime, and then that dwindled away. UTSA roared back, and hats off to them. I'll gladly take a split. That's one where we comfortably won with Nebraska, and as well as Samford over Furman. And Indiana State let me down playing against that conference game against Drake. So 2-2, able to cash in the NBA. So overall, profitable weekend, actually very profitable. If you're able to follow me on Saturday for those picks and a clean sweep, got the brooms out 5-0 in college basketball. Okay, but let's get down into tonight's contest. These are ones where we're going to look into a couple games, a couple big spots, and ones where I'm kind of getting excited. First one on the board is the Charleston hosting Towson. Okay. Now, within this, love the reverse betting split. Okay, the line opened at 5.5. We're seeing a ton of money come on Charleston, but the bets are majorly on Towson. Okay, and Towson, correct me if I'm wrong. It really doesn't matter. I don't really care too much about the names. Forgive me if you guys went to school there. But we're going to get into this, and this is where I look at the recent performance where Towson got obliterated 72-56. Okay, and that's where it's a little bit of a fishy number. Okay. I think what they're doing is this game's potentially more so a home game for Towson, closer to where they're from. I think they're from Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. The game's being played in Washington, D.C., so a little bit of a road trip for Charleston, but one where we look at the recent matchup, this game should be a little bit higher. I think I'd have this game closer to 7. So for taking Charleston -4, it's 1 or -5 if you can get it out there with Bet Rivers. It's right there on the board available. I'm flashing it for you guys. That's one where I'm looking at taking in Charleston in this contest, okay? I just think there's some value. I think they have a potential to win by 7 or more, closely into double digits, and this line is on the wrong side of the number, okay? Next, we're going to get into Cleveland State and Oakland. This is one where we're seeing kind of the opposite. Everybody's taking Oakland, right? 21-11. One of the teams where, we've backed the Horizon League in a lot of big spots. I really like playing the Horizon League. And I kind of got a good feel for Cleveland State on the season. Okay, 15-14-3 against the spread overall. And Oakland has been a really great cover team, 20-12, 62%. You can't deny that. The previous matchups, Oakland ended up covering, what they did against Cleveland State with a 3.5-point spread at home, winning 83-71. And one where Oakland's won 4 out of their last 5, and then some. Okay, they're on kind of a hot streak. Okay, and that's why I think we've seen a lot of this number creep up. We've seen Cleveland State, go on the road, beat YSU in a game where they were supposed to lose, 10.5-point favorites, ending up winning that game 82-70. So I think this is a little bit of a correction from the market, okay? But what I'm looking at is I like Cleveland State on the road right now. I like their current form, and I'm willing to take the 5.5. It's one where it's kind of a contrarian play. You look at what's going on. And Oakland, like I said, 20-12 against the spread. A lot of the bets coming on Cleveland State. You can find 5.5s out there in the market pretty much everywhere. One where, if people are going to come on on Oakland, you're going to have some buyback. This number probably will be available at 5.5, upwards till tip-off. But this is where we're going to take Cleveland State as my second official play, plus 5.5, lock it in, okay, and hoping for another strong contest out of them, out of the Vikings, okay. Next, Arkansas State traveling on the road to take James Madison. A spread of 6.5 opening line. We've seen it bet down. You can find 5.5s out there in the market. This is one where I don't have an official play. I like James Madison to run away with this one. We're probably going to lay the 5.5. And you can find that out there at a few outlets. But this is one where I wanted to put in perspective, kind of go off script a little bit. In college basketball, I really like doing something, and I know it's not good to parlay over the course of time, but in these spots where these are these leveraged spots where necessarily the home team, the team that's the better team in these leveraged spots, right? Conference tournaments, March Madness, right? The other teams are playing like their pants are on fire, okay? They're leaving it all on the court. They need a win to get into their tournament. This is where heart really becomes a huge underlying metric within college basketball that I don't think the analytics and algorithms, for that matter, absolutely qualify or quantify for this matter. But this is one where I like to utilize a strategy. I like to take 2 teams, 3 teams, no more than 4 teams at most, okay? But that 2 to 3 team is my sweet spot. And what I'll do is just take some money lines. Find these teams that are 5.5, 6.5, 7.5 points for that matter, favorites, where the money line might be a little bit more respectable, but you're not sure they're going to get it done because and how much they're going to actually be able to cover because of these leveraged spots. So by doing this, you're not going to get that sleepy performance midweek where they're on the road. They got tests tomorrow where these teams come out flat and they can't cover the 5.5 points because they're going to, even though they're supposed to, right? In these spots, they're leverage positions. This is where James Madison, I really look for them to cover, but maybe they don't. And that's why we have to count in the consideration the heart factor is what I like to call it. So in spots like these, I have no problem putting, say, the likes of Charleston and James Madison and another team that we're going to talk about later on in this video in like a 2-3 team moneyline parlay, okay? It's one where you can lock it in, probably get some plus value within those. And yes, they all have to happen, and it's not good to parlay, but it is one where I do like that from time to time, a little bit of sprinkle on a 2-3-4 team parlay with the moneyline favorites that clearly are the better teams and should win. I'm not saying go out there and take 75 minus 14.5 point favorites, but I'm saying there is a little bit of a strategy that I deploy within taking that 2, 3, 4 sweet spot, -5 to upwards to -8 point favorites, where you're just not sure they're going to cover that number, but they're going to win the game. Okay, so that's how I feel about it. but not an official play, but I do like James Madison minus 5.5. I'll probably end up betting it if that number gets a little bit more juicy. I do look for them to take care of business against Arkansas State. Clearly the better team, and I do like James Madison to win in this contest. Okay, next, Milwaukee, traveling on the road to Northern Kentucky. This is one where it's jumping off the page. This is one where you look at this matchup, and you look at Wisconsin, Milwaukee. It's 14-16 against the spread. Okay, a overall record of 17-14. Northern Kentucky, a little bit of a better record against the spread, 16-13. There's no real true indication, but what I'm seeing right now, guys, is the 100% of the bets right now. The 100% of the bets are on Milwaukee. So this is one where, you try to find that sharp angle. You try to go against the public, and this is a spot where I'm definitely going to try to do it. And I'm going to do it by way of money line and get some value taking Northern Kentucky. If you can find it out there with a minus 117. If we go to the money line, you can see you can even find it even in some spots, but minus 110 out there at DraftKings, Hard Rock. Minus 110, and pretty much readily available at that minus 115 price. So coming in at a basically open of a pick'em, it's one where I'm not opposed to taking that money line. Don't worry about the points, and don't worry about that push. Pay the same juice, right? Pay up a little bit and just take them on the money line. And it's one where I look to go against kind of the norm. I think everybody is going to be on Wisconsin, Milwaukee. And you look at the past matchups, there's really nothing jumping off at the page. Why? The last matchup, 73-72. You look at Wisconsin, Milwaukee winning that contest. It's just not enough for me to jump on it in a conference play. This is a coin flip game. I find some value getting Northern Kentucky. I think it's something where you look at the recent form and you see 7 out of 9 for them. I look for Northern Kentucky to continue that trend, and I think the wrong team's favored, even though it's a pick 'em. So lock it in. That'll be an official play as well, taking Northern Kentucky. Okay, and then next we're going to travel out to the Montana-Portland State game. That's one where I'm going to get behind Montana in this one. I know we're laying a lot of favorites, minus 6.5 on FanDuel. That's presenting some good value. That number has crept up pretty much in every outlet, every sports book, even higher, 7.5. It's probably going to go to 8. Okay, it's probably going to go to 8. I think this is one where this has absolute blowout potential. Montana State, 17-11 against the spread. Portland State, an even team when we look into this. And this is kind of where I was getting to. This would be my third dance partner if I was going to play that money line parlay, which actually I think I am going to do just for illustration purposes. And that's where I'll be taking the likes of Montana as well as Charleston and James Madison, 3-team money line parlay. See what that value presents. I think that's one where that could be a very good risk. Not necessarily something I'm looking to do every single time out, but one where I'm confident and comfortable with all three of those teams winning. So I'm going to be taking all three of them on the money line, and we'll see what happens come later on in this evening. Okay, but this is one where I just see this game being blowout. I really truly do. 82-73, Portland State lost last time out against Montana, but like I said, this is a leveraged spot. Montana has more of a reason to win, more of a reason to cover, and even so, last time they covered that game with a minus 8.5 point margin. They were 8.5 point favorites, winning by 9 on the road. At home against Portland State. And now this is when we're looking at recent form. Okay, beating Idaho State by 14, beating Idaho by 13, and just back on February 24th, they have a fresh history within Portland State. Portland State, conversely, beat Idaho by 15, losing to Sacramento State, and like I said, that Montana loss. So one where I look for Montana just to run away with this one. I think this is one where it presents a good value. So I'm going to be locking in as an official play and as part of that 3-team money line parlay. Okay, so that's kind of what we got going on. And then also, guys, I want to tell you that we're going to be doing a bracket here on the channel as well. Okay. We're going to be doing a bracket live. I'm going to try to put that together, and I'm trying to start up a Patreon so I can give you guys some live plays, some stuff like that as we get moving. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, how you guys feel about that. If you have any suggestions, feedbacks, what you guys would like as I look to design those features of the channel. But the channel is growing very quickly, so I'm very excited to unveil some of the new steps that we're going to be doing along the way. But I appreciate you guys all being part of the team. And just a quick recap of the picks. I know you guys like having that. That's where we're going to be taking Charleston, minus 5.5, Cleveland State plus 5.5, James Madison minus 5.5, and Northern Kentucky on the money line, as well as Montana minus 6.5 if you can find out there on FanDuel. With a bonus 3-team money line parlay, that's where we're taking Montana, James Madison, as well as Charleston in a 3-team money line parlay. Lock it in. Those are my official plays within this college basketball slate. Laying a lot of chalk, laying a lot of favorites, but tournament time, it's one where look to be profitable in that regard, especially with conference tournaments where a lot of these teams have to win to get in these smaller conferences. So hope you guys are all doing well. Make sure you subscribe down below. Smash that like button as well. Appreciate you guys being part of the team here at the Bettor Mark, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow. Go cash some tickets.